Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Michael Campbell.
Now, Nelson, as a fellow Melburnian, how are you feeling today?
Claustrophobic.
Yeah. Yes, for those on the other side of the world, even though Trump has just tweeted about this, maybe you haven't heard, but we've got a further 6 weeks of even stricter restrictions now. So
Trump tweeted about us?
Yeah.
You're like, look how poorly Australia is doing.
Yeah, it kind of was. It was like, look, it's countries that people thought were doing good. They aren't doing good. And maybe America's doing good, eh?
It's funny, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say, I know that like we're remotely recording at the moment, and I know that's not ideal for us or for the listener, but just hang in there. We're going to have to remote record for a little bit longer.
We tried to get another hall pass like we did on our 200th episode, because I'm not sure if you're aware, but we wrote to our premier and we said, hey, do you know we are the longest running Reddit-based podcast? And it's a requirement that we record that episode in person together. And he said, hey, boys, of course I know who you are. I listen every week.
Yeah, big fan.
And I'm looking forward to the 200th episode. Yeah, it's fine. Do you want a police escort? I said no. I thought that was a misuse of taxpayer dollars. Yeah. But
you're if nothing else, you're a man of the people, Nelson.
Yeah, that's right. That's how people would describe me. But unfortunately, episode 201 onwards is not does not have the same the weight behind it to allow this extra hall pass. So
and also we were using so much momentum running up to episode 200 that episode 201 onwards will also be a downward momentum.
Yeah, that's right. It'll kind of ebb and flow, to be honest,
but on a downward trajectory.
Yeah. Like sometimes it'll be real bad, and then there'll be another episode. And you're like, oh, getting good again.
No,
but then down again further the next week.
A flash in the pan. By episode 220, the theme will probably end, and you go, oh, so yeah. Welcome to Reddit on Reddit, I guess. Oh boy,
here we are again. Anyway, I think we should get into it.
Please.
Perhaps. Now, normally I do the show notes, and I'm worried that I won't get a good Reddit on Reddit.
Mm-hmm.
But what I found is that often a good backup is to follow the user, Makita2.
Yes,
who we love so dearly.
Yes, consistent contributor, not to their, like, they don't contribute willingly, but consistent contributor to the show.
I have like messaged them before saying, I think every time I've messaged them and said, hey, we've used your post, but I don't remember if they've ever responded back. I don't know, maybe. But here's hoping to the fact that they listen. But anyway, Makita2 often comes out with some crazy, wacky ideas for 6 perks.
Yep. Often people will remember that one of the trademarks of a Makita2 post is about halfway through it falls apart.
Not this one, Cambo.
Okay, good.
Not in the slightest.
Now you've read all the way through this one prior, because this is what's tripped you up in the past.
This one's a short one. This is in the subreddit $1 Million But.
Yep.
And so this one is $1 Million But you become a sweat vampire. Yes, it's exactly as it sounds. Mm-hmm. You have to survive off of human sweat. And he goes on to say, there's caveats to this, Cambo, in case you thought you could get away very easily.
Yeah.
Human sweat will be like water and food for you. Can't get enough sweat? Don't worry. A deal with Planet Fitness can be set up. You would need at least 10 ounces of human sweat daily to survive.
Ooh.
You can also lick it off other people as well. No other vampire drawbacks, like not being able to go outside during the day, apply.
10 ounces.
Yeah, are you looking up how many?
Yeah, because this is not
We don't speak stupid. Is what we're saying.
that's 295 mil. That's quite a lot to get. I really
sweat.
yeah, I doubt a person's ability to get that much sweat.
Because that's off multiple people. You can't just have one person.
But even so, like if you go into like a Planet Fitness or whatever, and you like scrape the sweat off people into a bottle, you're getting maybe a few mil per person.
Yeah.
Like, I'm talking like 3 mil, 4 mil.
No, you could get more than that.
You reckon?
If somebody's sweating a lot and you wring out their like shirt into a beaker,
Like, yeah,
I think you'd be able to get like, it's still not much.
yeah.
But maybe like 100 mil per person.
You reckon 100 mil?
Maybe 50 mil. Let's go 50
okay,
mil.
Yeah, let's go 50 mil. Okay, so it's just shy of 300 millimeters. So I guess you just need a certain amount of people with a certain amount of sweatiness to their shirt to be able to wring out. This isn't worth it for $1 million. For the rest of your life, you have to drink people's sweat. It's not worth it.
Okay, I have follow-up questions, Cambo, that I'd like you to answer.
Okay.
Okay, in a lot of vampire universes, not drinking blood, it doesn't mean that you die quite often.
Yeah.
Sometimes you'll just go insane. I think in the Buffy universe, you maybe go a bit insane or something.
Mm-hmm.
But then you know what? Angel doesn't go without blood phages, and then he's fine after a few days. So what I'm wondering is it worth $1 million to live my life as a millionaire for like, let's say a month? Because I'm sure the insanity doesn't kick in as soon as you're a bit hungry. And then I live a lavish lifestyle.
How far is $1 million going to get you in 2020? It'll get you an okay house.
How many drugs, Cambo, will it get you? A lot of drugs. Yeah, but maybe I could just I could buy a house. I'd probably buy a house. You know what? These days, $1 million doesn't even get you a very good house.
It gets you an okay house in the suburbs.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the other thing.
Like not to just to point out how little it gets you in Melbourne specifically, because we don't want to move. The unit that we're in, that I live in now, Nelson, which you're quite accustomed to, not a huge unit, and we rent it. But the last sale of this, we looked it up one time. The last sale of this unit was in about 2011, 2012, I believe, and it was 800,000.
What? That is insane.
And we don't live in like the bustling inner city, and it's not a big unit, and we could never afford to buy it. So just to know, you could get something like this unit.
And it's like to explain it to the listeners, it's like of a slightly older design. I would say.
It's just it's a bit shit.
Bedroom, it's worn. It's a worn place.
Yeah,
it's nice.
No dishwasher.
No dishwasher.
Yeah.
For $800,000. Jesus.
So that's why I don't think I'd do it. I honestly don't think I'd do it.
New plan, Cameron. New plan.
Mm-hmm.
It said you didn't get any of the drawbacks of a vampire, but do you have the benefits like super strength?
Turning into a bat.
Turning into a bat? Because could you, so long as you prove your worth, right, to like the government, maybe you'd be like, hey, I'm a superhero. Send me into the most dangerous situations possible. I can't die. It's very unlikely somebody's going to work out to stab me in the heart with a wooden stake. It's super unlikely. But I've got immortality. I'm super buff.
Yeah.
Send me into the, Colombian drug cartel like mansions. I'll just kill everybody and it'll be fine. And you pay me in sweat.
But I would want sweat and money. Because again, the $1 million is gone.
You don't want just the sweat.
The $1 million is gone on a unit in the outer eastern suburbs of Melbourne. So you're down to no money again.
In fact, honestly, the $1 million in this scenario is of no consequence. Like, I'm just gonna get a ton of money from the army, from the government.
Yeah, and like publicity appearances. Like if you're opening a shopping mall,
into a magic act.
If you're opening a shopping mall, I'll fly in as a bat and turn into a man on stage.
That's $1 million right there, Cam. That's $1 million.
Welcome to the Westfield. So then you fly off as a bat. Yeah. But isn't it weird that if you decided to work for the government as a superhero, legally you'd have no right to call yourself Batman?
Oh, how annoying! That's true. I bet you. Yeah, man. It's. I don't know what you wouldn't want to be. It'd be hard to come up with anything different, right? It's like I'm the guy that can turn into a bat. But what is the name for that hero?
I mean,
what do you want to be called?
I think if you think about it logically, Daredevil should be Batman anyway, because he's the one that is blind and uses sonar. That is far more like a bat than Batman.
Yeah.
And Batman uses like fear and acrobatics, which is way more like a Daredevil.
That's true.
They've got the wrong names.
But the bats suck blood more like a vampire. So really, the real Batman
is us.
It's us when we take this deal.
Yeah. There's a new slogan someone can make into a billboard. Reddit on Reddit, they're the real Batman.
Yeah, that's right. But do you know what I'd like to know is how many of these $1 million butt deals have we taken, and how many how much money we would have accomplished over time?
I feel like it's a pretty. I feel like we don't take them as often as perhaps others, but we always do try and find out how we can exploit this new situation for further money.
yeah, that's right. The $1 million in every scenario is really just like
jumping off point.
Pennies to the dollar is what we end up getting, basically.
Yeah.
All right, but let's move on to Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit, you know what? I'm going to say probably this episode is brought to you by Just Judging Reddit.
Oh, okay. A lot of cross-posting.
Which I think is Hallie.
I think it's Hallie,
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So a lot of cross-posts this episode from Hallie, and I'm okay with it. So, this Ask Reddit and the next Ask Reddit both cross-posted to us by Hallie. But it was this first one was originally by hair toothpaste. Hair toothpaste? This is a disgusting concept.
Just call it hair paste. Teeth have nothing to do with it at that point.
Well, no, if you don't brush for a while, your teeth get a little furry.
Ah, yeah. So that's hair toothpaste. It's like when your teeth get bad enough.
That's hair tooth.
Oh, right.
And you need hair toothpaste to get rid of it. Yeah. Okay. You are asked to rename the country United States of America. What is the new name? I've got an easy one. I got a quick one for you.
Yeah, go on.
How about the United Farts of America? Not for any reason, but wouldn't it just be funny if everybody had to refer to it as that? The UFA.
Because you know that it would physically hurt a certain breed of American that liberty and land of the free, et cetera, all the things you always hear about America are like you'd be encroaching on all of that by calling them legally, because that is their name, the United Farts of America.
Yeah, well, I'm
Well,
gonna
no,
be.
but see, you're changing the word state, but you want to change the word America.
No, I like the fact that I changed state to fart. Because it makes no sense, Gabby. The word state is still going to exist in the English language, but they're for some reason called the United Farts. I'm gonna be honest with you. If we were called Ozfartians,
I think we'd be called. I think we'd be called Fartstralia, surely.
Fartstralia, yeah. Ozfartians, yeah, Fartstralia, yeah. And we're Fartians. We're Fartians.
And also, just quickly, the state of Tasmania very quickly translates to Fartmania.
Yeah,
which is a fantastic name. Fartmania? Are you kidding me?
People might actually go there. We could turn it into a Las Vegas style, state. Just it could be really fun there. But yeah, even though I am not super patriotic, I would have a hard time introducing people to like, if they're like, oh, where are you from? From Australia. What?
Yeah.
I'm a Australian.
It's where you'd start using all the other euphemisms for this country. Like, I'm from down under.
Yeah.
I'm true blue. Don't make me say it.
Yeah.
But that means because sometimes United States is shortened to USA, but that means it would be UFA now.
Yeah, UFA. UFA. I don't know why. It's like the most childish thing ever, but I find that the most
okay, here's how we can start more trouble. Call it United Farts of America, but O-Merica. So then the initials are UFO, which will surely set off a certain section of the internet. Start conspiring about. No. O, like America instead of America. It's O-Merica.
Oh, sorry. I see.
Yeah. So I just want conspiracy theorists to be like, they're trying to tell us. This is how they're trying to tell us. But we know it's absolutely meaningless.
Yeah, it was just us convincing Trump. Because I feel like if you are going to change the name of United States of America, like right now is the time to strike while Trump is in charge. He's your best bet to get the name changed to anything.
Yeah.
I would think it would be really funny if you just called it like Trump America or something really stupid, just because he would do it. He'd float it as an idea,
But we could call it the United Farts of Trump America, because Trump, in a way, is that not a euphemism for a fart?
Yeah, he is the embodiment of a fart. That is true. So yeah, I don't mind that as an idea. Any other ideas, Cambo?
Yeah, call them Canada. That would really piss them off, I reckon.
Yeah.
But call them Canada too, so they know that they're second.
Okay, yeah. Or how about New Canada?
No.
Like, if I was to improve the status of Australia, we would be called New Zealand.
But are you looking to improve the status? I thought we were looking for the most annoyance we can get.
You know what? I'm happy to do whatever.
Let's call them Crap Canada.
It's Canada, just people aren't as nice.
Yeah. Not as
Which
nice.
I think is the
there's no healthcare there.
Yeah. But going back to New Zealand, I think would be great. We would all of a sudden. Did you hear? Okay, interesting story. Right? I don't know if you or anybody else may have heard. There is a billionaire. His name is Gabe Newell, and he is the founder of the program called Steam, which is a gaming sort of platform. And Steam, or Valve is the company, actually. Sorry, Valve is the company.
Yeah, but Steam is like an online gaming network / marketplace /
like marketplace is probably the best way to describe it. And Valve has obviously also come out with their own games in the past that have been like wildly successful. So anyway, he is a billionaire, and when COVID started, he went on a trip to New Zealand, and he's still there now. And he went with like a few friends. One of the guys is like some Spanish race car driver. Because here's the thing: if you're a billionaire, you can be friends with anyone.
Yeah,
it doesn't like those things don't sort of match up.
The only person,
I'm a like massively famous race car driver.
The only person you're not guaranteed to be instant friends with is other billionaires because they like you've got nothing to offer them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Bill Gates is not friends with Jeff Bezos.
Yeah.
But anyway, so he went to New Zealand with these people, and they were so smitten with the welcome that they received, the hospitality of the country in general, everybody being incredibly nice, that they are putting on a free concert for the people of New Zealand. It's in Auckland. It's called some weird name. I can't remember what it's called because it's like some traditional like Maori name, and I can't remember the pronunciation. But it's literally
it's not Kia ora, which is what they hello goodbye Kia ora.
No. It's like the name of a place.
The place, right? I've got it.
I think so. Yeah, somewhere near Auckland. I think anyway. Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, but he's so in love with that country, like in such a short period of time. Him and his friends were like, this is just such a brilliant and loving country.
Yeah.
We're going to spend, I'm imagining, millions of dollars on creating this totally free festival just to say thanks for having us. Thanks for having like 3 people in your country. You've been so great. We're going to put on a concert. It's insane, but like it's such a weird but awesome gesture.
It's insane, but it makes sense, doesn't it? Like being so nice to someone that they want to send millions of dollars as a thank you is so classic New Zealand.
Yeah. That's happens all the time.
They might be the first nation on the world to actually kill someone with kindness.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is Canada and New Zealand. They're very close, I think, in the nicest category. But I think because their population is lower as well, I sort of feel like it's easier to, like, you know, if you've got a percentage of insane people in every country, if it's only like 10 insane people, you can deal with that. It's like 100,000 insane people.
Yeah, let's say there's a percentage, an average worldwide percentage, that 6% of your population are just absolute trolls, assholes, really combative. If that's 6% of a very small population, far easier to contain and ignore than 6% of a much larger population.
Exactly, yeah. So I think it's partly that. But if it is just in the name for some reason, I'm saying let's call us New Zealand. And America can be New Zealand, and so on and so forth until we've named all the countries new to the power of 24 Zealand. And, go from there. I just think, actually, I was playing a Japanese game recently, and it's very you're like samurai and you're in the countryside of Japan. And it's like, it looks very beautiful, you know. These
the game that's been taking the internet by storm lately. I feel like it's a game that everyone's discovered in lockdown.
Could be, yeah. I actually just kind of fluked it.
Ghosts of something or other.
Tsushima.
Yes,
something.
Yeah. It looks like a beautiful game.
It really is like amazing. There's amazing scenery, and I think it's interesting because a lot of the game is like how there's a lot of honor and tradition in Japanese people, and they're very sort of polite. It's like just in their nature. And I really thought that there must be. It seems like there's a connection between like the serenity of their countryside with their personality, and New Zealand is also a really beautiful country, and also maybe very quite serene as well. And it really made me think maybe it's like you are an outcome of what your land is like, in a way, like if you're in some harsh, like, cold climate. Actually, oh my God, I was going to say this does not fit in with Canada because they have a lot of like
Canada has
mountainous area.
Canada has beautiful landscapes.
It still looks great,
New Zealand has snow-capped landscapes as well. Like obviously not to the extent of Canada, but I would say,
just when I think of like harsh landscapes.
Well, okay, we're just gonna have to lean on cliche and stereotype here. So I apologize for that. But
that's what I'm going on. By the way,
let's take like Russia for example. You think of like industrial building and concrete and snow, compared to Canada, where you think of like beautiful lakes and mountains and pine trees and snow.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's true. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. When does it become that point, right? Because obviously the land is just like the same basically everywhere before we started to, industrialize everything. But Japan seems to have kind of kept a bit of the culture. I think it's partly to do with like the architecture of their, if their buildings and stuff. It's still like this really interesting design.
Japan is that anomaly where it has both. It has, depending on where you go, the old forests and the old temples and etc. And then Tokyo was like 6 years in the future to us anyway, and it's like the most modern thing ever.
And that's where anime came into it. Anime was created one day, and all of a sudden that part Tokyo just went crazy.
Someone was like, "Let's live like this."
We need to get more anime into our lives. How do we do this? Let's create a futuristic city. Okay, done. Let's do it. That's how that started. But anyway, this is just way off topic.
Anyway, the United Farts of O-Merica.
Yeah. United Farts of America. Okay, I have another one here.
Sure.
This is by King Weasel Fart. Oh my God. It's a sign, Camber. It's a sign. What is the best 2020 end credit song?
It depends whether or not, like, we're only at the halfway point, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, I saw something today. Someone had said, you need to consider that maybe 2020 will be like a mullet, business at the front, but party at the back. So like the end half of the year, maybe it's going to get better. But it depends if we're ending on a positive or a negative note. You know what I mean?
We're getting close to the end of the year, Cambo, and it doesn't look like it's going very well.
We're locked down until at least mid-September here.
Yeah, that's right.
And then we've got those last 3 months better be good.
Yeah.
Look, I don't hold much hope for either of our birthdays in October.
Yeah, that's true.
I'll be turning the big 3-0 probably in my house with no one around.
I'll probably do what I do every year anyway, Cambo, which is hire 3 prostitutes.
One for every decade that you're alive.
We play Cluedo together. It's a lot of fun.
It's expensive.
Oh, yeah. It's super expensive. I could just invite friends around, but they're not as attractive.
Yeah. But like the prostitutes really have to like laugh at all your jokes and really play up that you're a really interesting guy.
Yeah. And also like I tell them that like I'm looking for serious competition as well. Like I don't want them to foam in the game and let me win every time. So it's really, I don't know, Camber, if you've ever played a really intense game of Cluedo.
Yeah.
But when you pay somebody money to play that game, that becomes an intense game of Cluedo. Okay.
It's the only game of Cluedo that might end in a real life murder.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, so let's say, well, there's 2 scenarios, I guess.
Yeah, happy and sad.
The end of 2020 is good, or the end of 2020 is bad. What are your song suggestions?
Well, you need a song that's representative of like having made it through the tough time, right?
Yeah,
more than just outright sad.
Yeah,
like Candle in the Wind, very sad song, but it's not really applicable. To the year 2020. So is there a song that is about this, like I Will Survive or something like that maybe? Something that is about like overcoming.
Yeah, okay. How about even just, you know what? Throw in Eye of the Tiger.
Okay, yeah, okay. So we're getting pumped up for 2021.
Pumped up for 2021.
I tell you what, 2021 has so much expectations on it right now.
Yeah.
Like, if 2021 isn't phenomenal, I don't know what anyone in the world will do, because nothing has ever been as anticipated. There was like a 10-year build up to Endgame. That doesn't matter. 2021, the whole world is like, you better be good.
Yeah. Do you know what? If 2021 isn't phenomenal, Cambo, I know what will be.
2022.
Suicide rates. It's like, because I feel like it seems like the light at the end of the tunnel. Everybody's like, oh, it's just 2020. It's just this year.
Yeah.
I can get through this year.
There's for some reason this hope that no one talks about, but everyone does believe that next year, if it hasn't finished, like if the pandemic hasn't finished, it just will.
Yeah.
It's like, it's 2021 now. We've done with that. 2020 was that year. 2021, the disease, you need to go away now.
I like the idea that if in 2021 we all just agree, every nation, every person in the world, to just ignore the virus. And if you get sick and you start, coughing up, you just ignore it. You pretend like you're fine. We'll have a lot more dead people. Unfortunate, really bad. But if you just ignore it, we won't see the statistics.
I like the idea that it's like, in polite society, you don't bring up the disease. It's frowned upon. It really ruins a party if you were to bring up the disease. You don't talk of the year 2020 at all.
Yeah. This is definitely like this. It's like one of those movies where you don't, talk about the outside world. Or so. What was that movie where it was like the color red was banned? The Village.
Oh, The Village, yeah.
It's like, you just don't talk about it. You don't talk about most people know what's out there. Okay. Yeah. But when the children start bringing up the virus, you're like, hey, whoa. We'll have none of that. Thank you. Just this mystery. But okay. Yeah, so either Tiger could be good because we're definitely sure 100% that 2021 could be way better. I think what I would like is just, sometimes at the end of a really good movie, it will leave you with dead silence.
Yeah. I think there's some really affecting credits where, it's dead silent and the words just slowly fade on. They're like directed by, written by, etc. And you're like, oh God, they're not even giving us the comfort of music right now.
That music gives. Yeah. Or I think, you know what, even just a, not just dead silence, but like a white static.
I'm thinking maybe like a light wind, just like a.
Yeah.
So, because it's eerie, you're like, what? Why is the wind blowing? Where are we right now? It's pitch black.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Or just screaming.
Imagine that 2020 ends. Just oh my God. And everyone just sitting there in the cinema being like, yep, I get that.
That sums up exactly how I feel. Okay, good. There is also always look on the bright side of life.
Oh yeah. Because not only is that a good message, but quite a comical little song. So maybe some levity will help.
Yeah, life is pretty shit when you look at it. Life's a laugh and death's a joke. It's true. Great song. Anyway, Cambo, let's get into Today I Advice. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Today I Learned. And also sometimes advice. This Today I Learned is by, it's actually cross-posted to us by Shitballface. I still think that's such a great name. But it was originally by Olaman. Today I learned the first artificial sweetener, saccharin, was discovered on accident when a chemist forgot to wash his hands after work and tasted something unexplicably sweet during supper. He dropped his dinner and went to taste every beaker in his lab, which luckily for him contained nothing poisonous.
Yeah. I'm going to assume that he was smart enough to know that. Like he knew what he was testing.
I don't think so, Kevin. I think there was a point in time where you could be a doctor or a scientist and there was no qualification.
Yeah, you're probably right. Other than, are you brave enough? Because we're just going to put these chemicals together and we don't know what's going to happen. Are you brave enough? Yeah, that's cool. I'm a scientist. Yeah.
Yeah. It's fine. Because I think that, like, especially when you think about, methods for like, doctors in the past about weird, you hear about like all these really weird and strange treatments that they used to give people, like concoctions of, in fact, a lot of Chinese medicine is like, just phooey, like it's nothing at all. It still exists today, which is insane. It's like the essential oils sort of thing, like somebody just made that shit up and then people are like, yeah, okay, well, no scientific reasoning behind it, but after I smelled this goat's feces and licked its butt, I started to feel a little bit better. So
though I would just like point to the decline of the use of leeches in any kind of medical treatment these days to show that at one point that was what everyone thought was the cure. And
do you know, I was thinking of leeches, but I actually think that did work for some things. Maybe not everything.
Some things is fine. A cure-all is different.
Yeah. Or maybe over time we've misunderstood the benefits of using leeches.
Yeah.
Maybe we should try curing like leukemia or something.
Yeah, I bet you they haven't tried leeches.
I bet you nobody's tried.
Has anyone tried it for coronavirus?
Oh my God. We've got
Nelson, shut up for a second. Everyone shut up. We can make a lot of money.
We can make a lot of money. I know there's people suffering and that sucks, but we're going to make a lot of money. Because I mean, did this guy not just do the same sort of thing? He was like, he had no basis behind it. He was like, I'm just gonna try this. I'm gonna try this stuff. See how that goes. I reckon we just need to try more things.
Do you mean we as a society then therefore we're off the hook, or us specifically need to try more things?
Well, we've come up with the idea that people should try more stuff.
Yeah, you're right. That's our contribution.
That's where we draw the line. Like, don't expect us to do everything, obviously. We want other people to be able to claim credit for something.
It's kind of similar, I guess, to when Kennedy said, we will go to the moon. And then he was like, anyway, NASA, over to you now. Like, he came up with the idea, but he wasn't putting in the long hours after that.
Yeah, that's right. That is brilliant, actually, to think about it at that point of view. It's like, really, anybody that had a great idea should be credited with the end result.
Yeah. So if we claim that we have the idea to cure cancer, and then somewhere way down the line it gets cured, someone under this proviso needs to be like, well, Nelson and Campbell did say that would be a great idea and that we should do it.
How's this one, Campbell? How's this one? You know what they should do?
What's that?
They should create a cancer vaccine.
And while we're at it, coronavirus vaccine.
Work on the cancer one first. It's killed more people, Campbell. Think of the numbers. Okay.
Don't look at like any kind of range when you talk about numbers. Just look at overall total numbers. Because if you look at overall total numbers, not for specific dates or anything like that, cancer has it by a mile.
Yeah, exactly.
What you want is data that isn't comparable to each other.
Yeah, that's right. Like at one point, probably a larger percentage of people in the world were killed by hippopotami or something.
Yeah. Well, vaccine for that.
Get a vaccine for that. Yeah, I think that's what we need to do. A hippo repellent. develop that.
Yeah. It's similar to in the old 1960s Batman series. There's a famous scene that now gets like parodied and memed a lot, in which they're fighting off a shark, and he reaches into his bat helicopter and pulls out the can of shark repellent spray.
Yeah,
and it's in a line full of other animal names. Insert animal repellent. So if they've already got the other animals, it makes sense that some are on there. All kinds of rhinoceros or anything like that. There could be a repellent for them.
It is good. Probably, wouldn't you think it'd mainly be the same? Like some sort of something smelled bad.
Just some kind of poison that chokes really would get most animals.
Yeah.
Unless it's an animal that doesn't breathe in a conventional way, which obviously there are. But for like a tiger like most animals, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, maybe shark would need to change it because their breathing system is different. So maybe you do need a separate one for marine life and a separate one for land life. But I think you could do whole clumps of animals with one repellent.
I've got it.
Yeah.
One repellent. Can be. It's called a gun.
It's harder for
shoot everything.
Yeah, it's harder though for like insects. I feel like trying to shoot a fly that's buzzing around your house. It is possible you'll do a lot more damage to your house than that fly.
No, you're thinking too small, Campy. You're thinking like, a pistol for every animal. No. You need a shotgun for insects. A spray effect of sorts.
Yeah. And maybe just to get us off the hook for like liability claims, we suggest not using it indoors.
Yeah.
We won't stop you, but we do suggest you don't use it indoors.
Well, I think we're just coming up with the idea of an animal repellent.
That's true. We have no liability whatsoever.
Yeah, that's right. Okay. I think I'm gonna move on because we're a little whatever. Let's move into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought was cross-posted to us by Just Judging Reddit. Can you believe it?
Doing some heavy lifting this week.
Oh, yeah. But it was originally by Kalajasevakai. Every machine is a smoke machine if you don't utilize it correctly.
I like the idea that it's like that should be in the Get Motivated subreddit. Yeah. Like, hey guys, any machine can be a smoke machine. Don't underestimate your machines.
Your potential.
Yeah.
Is unlimited.
Someone probably told you won't be a quote unquote smoke machine. But you know what? If you go through enough, you can be a smoke machine.
Grab a pack of cigarettes. You're a smoke machine if you want to be.
Yeah.
Actually, that is it's sort of a good metaphor. It's like, you can be anything you want, but if you might not necessarily serve the purpose you were built for.
Yeah.
But you can do something.
It reminds me. There's a well-known Dimitri Martin joke where he says he saw a door. It said exit only, and he entered through it. And he went up to the staff and he said, "You've been underestimating that door's potential by 100%." And it kind of seems like you could do that of any product. Like you're buying, I don't know, like some kind of a VCR. Let's say it's in the mid-90s. You're buying a VCR and you're like, just be clear, is this VCR a smoke machine? And they're like, no, of course it isn't. And then you go home and treat it badly enough and get it to smoke and then walk back in there and be like, you didn't believe in this VCR, but I made it a smoke machine.
Yes.
And then you give them that really condescending, like, maybe next time you won't underestimate people so much. And then you walk out you leave the broken VCR machine.
I like the idea that you go back to that shop the next day and on all their signs next to every electronic product, it's whatever it is. It's VCR machine / smoke machine. Fridge / smoke machine.
Yeah. I also like the idea of like trying to look at the realistic version of what this would be. Like you buy it from, let's say it's like some mid-20s blonde girl. And then you go back the next day, you're like, where's that blonde girl? Like, she's not working today. You're like, oh, okay, I'll have to come back. You just have to kind of keep going back in until she's working and go, all right, you specifically said this wouldn't be a smoke machine.
Do you remember? Do you remember when I came in? No, I serve a lot of people.
Oh, God, I'm going to have to, okay. I'm going to buy another one, and I want you to remember this.
I'm going to record this conversation. Okay, here's another one. This is cross-posted to us by Just Judging Reddit. But it was originally by Fear the Legend. I have a question. Mm-hmm. Is it Fear the Legend? Or is it Fear
the legend? Yeah. Is he a legend called Fear, or does he fear the legend?
And if so, who is the legend?
Oh my God, so many
questions.
Is
it the legend Fear? Does he fear the legend Fear? Oh my God, so many questions. If you don't have kids, you'll be the first one in your family in 3.8 billion years to fail to do so.
I think this is untrue if you think of extended family. Like if you think of family as a whole, as the tree with the branches, you've probably had an uncle or something like that failed to have kids, but your family has continued.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I'm trying to make myself feel better in case I don't have any kids.
Yeah. It's more like
your direct line.
If you're a single child and you don't have kids, you'll be the first one in that. It's still a branch, but still that branch all the way to the end.
Yeah, like my brothers had kids, so I feel like
you're fine.
My family, I mean, we're Campbells. There's so many of those motherfuckers in the world.
Too many of you.
It's way too many.
We need a Campbell repellent.
Try and find me on Facebook. It's impossible. Do you know how many Michael Campbells there are? It's crazy.
Yeah, that is a good point. Yeah. I mean, yeah, they could have named you like Horatio Campbell.
Yeah, make me more unique. No, my family is wall-to-wall boring names.
Yeah.
John, David, Kate, like they're just the most standard white person names you can think of.
Well, funnily enough, my family is James, very common. Stephen, very common. Lauren, very common. Nelson,
yeah, they had a bit of fun with Nelson, didn't they?
Yeah. They were like, the first three turned out okay. Let's experiment with this last one.
Do you think it was? Yeah, they're like, we've gone the stock standard for the other kids. Let's just flip to a random page and put our finger on a random name or whatever it is, no matter what, we have to call them Nancy.
Let's go with the one underneath that. Yeah, they could be. But Allingham in itself, it sounds like it would be a common name, but it's not that common, actually, on last name. We haven't killed enough people, unlike the Campbells.
Oh, yeah. Campbells are a real piece of shit.
Yeah. It's like, isn't it Genghis Khan or something has a gazillion children or something like that?
Yeah, it's like a certain percentage of the world apparently is related to Genghis Khan because of all his, it's not always consensual relations that he was having.
Well, he pillaged and dominated a lot of the world at a certain point in time. So I think...
So in a way, if we're all kind of related to Genghis Khan, our family will continue if I don't have kids.
Yeah,
the Khan family will live on.
And that's all I really care about.
That's all we really care. At the end of the day, that's all we really care.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good. I think we do need to... the world is overpopulated, is my belief, Canberra. I think there's too many people on the planet, not enough resources, or at least if we want to go on living the way we are, then too many people in the world. So I think it should be a rule that your family can only have the same amount of children as your current family has. So it's like my sister has 2 children. Mm-hmm. And my brother has 2 children, but that's 1, 2. Oh, no. That's perfect amount because there's 4.
Yeah, 4 children. They've had 2 children each. That's 2 children.
Yeah. So we've got the 4 for the family.
Yeah.
Bit rude of my sister and my brother to not,
Yeah.
share that
how many generations until you can't, until it's just down to single child?
Well, that would still just keep the population at the same level.
Well, yeah, because at that rate, your sister had 2 kids, So then when they go off, they can have one kid each because she had two kids.
Yeah. Or one can have two.
One can have two. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the system. We should.
It takes one generation to get down to the single child law like they used to have in China.
Yeah. It wouldn't get that way straight. Yeah.
No, not everyone. Like large families will take a few more generations.
I suppose that's right. It probably just statistically by the end, it would end up being one child per family. But that's fine, can't be. Okay. Oh, but then maybe because I'm not considering the partner of my sister.
That's true. Yeah. That
count theirs as well.
Yeah.
So it's maybe at least two.
Still, because every time essentially what you're doing is you're halving and then halving and then halving again.
Yeah, but if you want to, you could maintain the same population. Is if you every couple can have two children in the end.
Okay, so you just want it two. You don't want. Are you getting rid of the rule of whatever your family had? That's the amount, or do you just want everyone can have two kids?
Everyone can just have two kids.
Okay, that's a far simpler rule to implement.
If one of those kids dies, if you're a bad parent and one of your children died, you can't have another one.
Right.
That's how you slowly reduce the population. Because people are like, oh, I need the family's important. You need to have two children at the very least. And you say, that's fine. But if one of them goes missing or dies, you can't have another one.
So you can imagine a scenario in which there's a doctor telling the parents the bad news. You know, your child has died. And they say, oh my God, it was such a big part of our life. That's a void that we want to fill in our lives. And the doctor goes, you're going to have to do it with material goods, I'm afraid.
Get a dog. That's what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Do you know what I think the funniest thing is for pet owners? Okay, it's not that funny actually. Maybe this is a bit of a villain aside, but it's like, oh no, like my pet has died. Horrible thing. I understand the mourning loss of a pet, not just dog. It can be anything, right? And quite often, what people will do is better get another one. That concept just seems very bizarre.
It is funny to be like, nothing could ever replace him. Oh, well, actually, you kind of could replace him.
I
with
better
the same kind of dog.
I better just go to the pound and double check that Bobo couldn't be replaced. Let me just find out. But anyway, okay, here's another one. This is by Werty1304. Your arms grow just long enough to defend your balls. This is a funny concept because I was like, it's perfect. And you know what? As far as we know, that is perfect evolution. Right? It's like that wasn't by mishap. There were actually some people with shorter arms that couldn't protect their nuts.
It means at some point they've gone. These people have arms long enough to protect their kneecaps, but you know what? Kneecaps aren't getting attacked that much. It's not a necessity. Balls attacked all the time. We do need arms long enough just to the balls because they're getting attacked constantly, and we need to be able to protect those.
I bet you who wishes their arms were longer is Achilles. Am I right?
What a dickhead.
Protect that. Yeah. Shouldn't have a stupid weak Achilles like some fucking idiot. Am I right?
Be such a great warrior. You think his arms would be long enough to bloody get down to his ankles?
Wouldn't you just put a bit of armor on your Achilles tendon? Just put you wear boots. Just slip a bit of metal inside there.
I bet you everyone else did from that day on. Like the rest of his mates all suddenly had little things around their Achilles.
Yeah, I like the idea that they were just watching him one day, and he's in battle, and they see this arrow or a sword come down and slash his Achilles, and all of them just go, "Ooh, that looks painful," and then they just immediately retreat and be like, "Look, we've got a flaw in our armor. we've seen this. It looks super painful. Achilles, he died.
And maybe that's why combat boots now, the modern combat boot, does go up kind of like into your shin.
Yeah.
Because it's all because of Achilles and him being an idiot.
I have never really thought about this, but do you think maybe I've only thought of like the story Achilles, he had that weakness, but as far as I know, if I tried to take out somebody's Achilles, that might kill them.
Well, yeah, it wasn't like, I don't know enough about the story. I think like a lot of my information comes from the movie I know to be wildly historically inaccurate.
No, I actually do know that. I do know
did he die from the wound, or did the wound just stop him in battle and then he died because he couldn't, like, he wasn't as like nimble as he famously was?
Oh, I don't actually think it was anything to do with him getting hit in the Achilles heel. What it was is it's actually just the origin of his story, which is that his mother dipped him upside down in a lake that made him immortal, but she held him by the feet.
Right.
So his Achilles didn't get down. And then I think it's just like, oh, and then he died in battle. It must have been his Achilles that were hit.
Right.
I don't think it was like that's actually what happened.
Right. It's more of a metaphor.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think these legends are not that true.
I don't know about that, because I think what happened is the Queen of England has found that immortal lake and jumped in and rolled around a bit.
Do you think then, if we're talking about like changing protective things after Achilles, do you reckon from then on when they're dipping people in immortal pools, it's some kind of stick and net situation where they can submerge the whole body?
Yeah. They're like, oh shit, we really fucked up by holding him by the ankle. Should have just thrown him. It's not even deep water. We could have he could have got in and stood up. I don't know why we dipped him in like that. Seems so inefficient. Yeah, that's right. Okay. I have like, sure, let's do one more. Why not?
Sure.
This is by Bundesrepu. It is a sign of planetary weakness that humans put flags on other planets which only represent a small territory of Earth instead of a flag that represents our whole planet.
Well, yeah, I mean, not to side with a villain too much, but Ozymandias from the Watchmen comic, his whole plan was to eradicate this idea of countries being the best or whatever by spoilers for the comic that came out about 40 years ago, coming up with a fake alien threat that would unite the world as a single thing. But I actually think that there's so much credibility in that idea of like being like split like this, where it's like, yeah, this is America, this isn't the world, this is America or Russia or whoever the space power might be. Is a really like narrow-minded way to think about it.
Yeah. I like the idea that an alien, goes to the moon, finds the flag, and then looks at Earth and is like, this looks nothing like that planet. Must not have been them, I guess. You would think that they would have kind of a greeny blue theme.
The one benefit to that, let's say that they're the first country to Mars, let's say it's America, and they get to Mars and they plant the flag down like, this is ours. But then it turns out that there are Martians, and the Martians come to Earth and they're like, whose flag is this? And the rest of the world can all just point to that one country. We're like, we didn't do it. It's not Australia. We were just, we got nothing to do with this.
That's a good point. Yeah, let's show you our flag. Nothing like this. Yeah, that's a great point. In fact, if anything, we should discourage discourage the Australian government from ever traveling to another planet.
Yeah, and if it turns out to be safe, like once all that testing's been done, we'll go there. We'll visit there.
Yeah, or maybe what we do is we'll go to another planet, but we'll plant like North Korea's flag. Like, let's just let somebody else resolve this situation.
Or if we're shit enough, our flag is very similar to the New Zealand flag. And so we plant our flag and we like, oh, Martians are coming. We quickly have a referendum and change our flag. So when the aliens get here, they're like, look, this one's it's pretty similar. I reckon it's probably them.
Yeah. Yeah, I like how we're throwing New Zealand under the bus after just earlier this episode spoke about how great a country they are.
Because the thing is, they wouldn't do that to us. That's the important thing.
Yeah, exactly. We could get away with it. Yeah. And also, they'd never get to outer space, let's be honest. All right, Cambo. Now we can get into the AMA. I feel like we need an intro to that.
Well,
because if normally we've got podnapping, there's an intro, and then we got AMA.
I think I feel like I promised an intro like years and years ago.
You're still working on it.
Yeah. So I'm just here to tell you it's coming. It's coming.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
I'll ask you in another 200 episodes.
Yeah. Well, see, this is the thing, right? I did legitimately have an idea, but it's potentially a spoiler, but I'm just going to say it anyway. I did have the idea for a podnapping segment in which during this segment, we need to create a jingle for AMA since we don't have one.
Oh.
So maybe, it's something we'll have to do when we're in the room together again.
Yeah.
But a spoiler for weeks and weeks and weeks ahead is that was a podnapping idea I had.
A live intro. I like it. This is great. Should I bring my tambourine, Cambo?
Obviously. It's going to be very tambourine heavy.
Yeah. But not a bugle. That would confuse things.
Confuse things.
Speaking of which, we have listeners. If you haven't seen, we had Abby, and also Hallie send in photos of them wearing our new merch, which looks super awesome. And you should go check it out on our subreddit if you haven't seen it. They look really cool. I really like it. Although I think there was something wrong with. I think there was something wrong with the bugle T-shirt. You can't see the
writing. So as it turns out, depending on the color shirt that you choose, the writing can be hard to see if you choose particular colors. But I forget off the top of my head which color the writing is. But let's say it's like a red or whatever. But apparently some colors it's easier to see. Some colors it's a little harder to see. So keep that in mind because I don't want to change it.
Get white. You'll probably be fine.
Yeah, I think probably. Right? I don't know. The writing could be white. I don't know.
Order a red one. Order a blue one, and order a white one, and you'll be covered. You'll see all the writing probably.
Anyway, it's AMA time where people have written in.
Oh yeah. I'm sorry, I forgot because we don't have a jingle.
Yeah.
This is AMA, where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
Yes, so we're doing a couple extra this week, foregoing podnapping for now, just to catch up, because we've got quite the backlog. We've got one here from Jeremy. It says, hello, gentlemen. I've started listening to your podcast a few months back, and I'm really loving it. Just finished the episode where you talk about botched plastic surgeries on terminally ill children, French maids, and propose to call all babies titty suckers. To give you an idea of how far behind I am.
I don't remember any of those things.
Me neither. But it's my favorite thing, though, when people write in about the episode they're up to, because inevitably we have to question what we were talking about. You also mentioned how great it must be to have multiple orgasms as a woman. But I want to let you know that men can have multiple orgasms. These can be felt throughout the body as opposed to the pelvic area. As both of you are straight, I wouldn't have expected you to know that, but it all is forgiven. Speaking of which, here's my question. What is the gayest thing you've ever done? I am gay myself, but ironically, some of the gayest things I've ever seen or heard have come from straight men. Also, I am in the Chicago area, USA, UFO, and am willingly glad to be the Chicago correspondent. Again, since I have many episodes to catch up on, I hope there isn't already a correspondent here. Jeremy.
Do we have a Chicago? I don't think so.
I don't think so. Yeah, you can have it. If we do have one, I hate to announce they've been dethroned.
I like that in general, we try to protect the correspondence to be like, hey, somebody's already there.
Yeah.
You have to be a different one, but on the chance that we forget, that's at the point where you can be dethroned.
Yeah. For no fault of your own, if we forget you, there is the possibility of dethroning.
Which is honestly, it's gonna happen because they're 52 states. Is that right?
50.
How many? 50.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You guys should think about having another 2 states.
But we will just let you know now, because you may not be up to this point yet, but you're the Chicago correspondent. If you were to move away, that doesn't matter. As Hazim can attest to, you remain the correspondent of the city you were when you claimed correspondence duty.
Yes. Okay. Anyway,
what's the gayest thing we've ever done?
I don't know if this is gay, but I did have sex with another man.
Hey, if you didn't think it's gay, I don't think it's gay.
Yeah, it's only gay if you think it's gay. I don't know. What's the gayest thing I've ever done? I mean, I've had I had a good friend where we pretend that we're in a relationship together, me and this guy. And so when he had a girlfriend, he's getting married to her soon, son of a bitch. There's just like this ongoing joke that I'm offended whenever she's around and I try not to talk to her because we're like in a relationship, and we like hug a lot because hugs are good.
Yeah.
So that's like maybe the gayest thing, but it's not really.
Yeah, it's pretty light on the gaydar, isn't it?
It's kind of like it's like a bromance more than
I think that I don't think that any action other than like the sexual or romantic ones really can have gay connotations. You know what I mean? There was a joke for a while. I used to live with a guy called Jack, and one time his mattress broke and we were going mattress and bed shopping together. And someone was like, oh, you probably looked like a gay couple. I'm like, yeah, but like mattress shopping isn't inherently gay. Despite, you know what I mean? So it's hard to really judge, isn't it? Other than pecking a guy on the lips or kissing a guy or whatever like that. Sure, yeah, you could construe those as gay because they are, by like definition, sexual or romantic acts, same sex. But other than that, it's really hard to say,
Yeah, I get what you mean, but that's boring, politically correct.
Okay, then it was the mattress shopping thing I said.
Okay, good.
I'm sure I probably kissed a guy.
See, I remember being at a party once where like two guys like dared to kiss each other and they did, but I don't remember ever like being in that scenario.
Oh, wait a minute. I've kissed a guy on camera. If you look at, there's a sketch from our friends Goodall and Gallagher. It's called The Boyfriend Bot.
Pornhub.com/
Yes, yes, / Goodall and Gallagher. There's a sketch from Goodall and Gallagher called The Boyfriend Bot. And there's a joke at the end of that sketch. They've designed a new bot, but it's a gay bot. And I am the scientist testing out the gay bot. I kissed that guy.
That was a really funny sketch, actually.
Oh, thank you. It's probably because I kissed that guy.
Yeah. I was like, oh, gay. It's so funny.
So I guess kissing a gay bot is probably the gayest thing I've done.
Do you know what? Okay, this is what I've thought. I've probably checked out other guys' dicks.
Yeah, okay.
In like a Euro situation.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you're curious.
But even let's say like this is something I think every guy has done, whether they want to admit it or not. Is if they're watching pornography and a guy gets it out, every now and then you'd be like, that's a good dick.
Yeah, that's true.
Nothing more than like a fleeting thought of like appreciative of the guy having a good dick, but I think every guy's done it.
I remember, I think it was like this kind of vague, maybe like a friend of a friend kind of telling me this story. And he was saying, he's in a group with a group of guys and he's like, oh, everybody's a little bit gay. Yeah, and the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not gay," and he's like, "All right, do you watch porn?" He's like, "Yes." He's like, "Oh, so you just watch lesbian porn?" He's like, no. Well, I mean, I don't know like lesbian porn. And he's like, "Okay, so you like watching porn, straight sex with a guy with a really small dick?" And he's like, "No. The guy has to have a big dick." And he's like, "Oh, okay, now I understand." Yeah. Everybody's a little bit gay, Kemper. Everybody's a little bit gay. But thank you, Jeremy. You could be a twofer, our Chicago and gay correspondent. Why not?
Why not?
Sometimes we might need to know if things are gay. Is mattress shopping with another guy gay?
Yeah.
Okay, here's another one. This is by Tane. Yes,
Probably.
it has an accent on.
It does have an accent on the A, so
but
it's
I
really
would think that Tane wouldn't have an accent, like that pronunciation. Maybe I think it's like Tane.
I would say 1 in every 6 people whose name we pronounce send a follow-up email correcting us on the pronunciation of their name.
Yeah. It's fine.
So I look forward to the email.
It's probably just Tane, maybe. Anyway, okay, here we go. Hey, Nelson and Cambo. What music, tune, theme would you like to die to? You also get to decide the way you die. Unsure if this has been asked before, but keep up the great work. Love listening. Regards, Tane. Tane?
I think there's a difference between song you would like at your funeral and song you would like to die to. Like at your funeral, you want something real sad. I've always said that I really love the song Angela's by Elliott Smith, but it's a real, like, it'll get people crying at a funeral. It's very somber, very sad song. So yeah, that's a good funeral song. But if I'm going to die, maybe you want something epic as you're dying. Like Lux Athena is it's a song that's used in a lot of movie trailers. Lux Athena by Clint Mansell. It's like big epic music. That would be great to die to.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Actually, I really like that. I wasn't really sure what I would want to die to. And you know what? It could still be Eye of the Tiger, revving myself up for what is next to come, which is obviously nothingness because I don't believe in afterlife whatsoever. Or maybe it is people screaming. I don't know.
Just in case my humming didn't quite do the trick. Come on, you good? Like you want that?
Yeah.
You want that kind of epic kind of string music?
Okay, yeah. Maybe you know what? I think it would be. I really like that epic idea, and I reckon that it could be. I first thought, okay, Hans Zimmer has to have composed this. And then I was like, in Inception, there's some pretty cool, like, epic music that I think maybe Inception is the theme song to that.
So what you're saying is the only thing that can make a death caller is the noise.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. And also, if I'm dying this way, okay, yeah, this needs to be. This is how I'm gonna die. There's gonna be this epic wow, and I'm just going to slowly walk into the ocean, okay, and just until I disappear and I drown and I'm dead and you never see me again. and I'm gonna walk real slow, and that's how it's gonna happen. That is its own scene right there. That's a brilliant movie. Yeah. I'd watch that.
Yeah, walking slowly into the ocean. I think Cynthia Plath did that into a lake, maybe. Epic way to go with that kind of music blaring, isn't it?
Yeah. That'd be great.
Okay.
How about
Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like we wouldn't die that way, but if anyone else wants to.
Yeah. I mean, if we're going to hell, I suppose.
Maybe it would just be the podnapping theme on loop because that's the most grating of them. It's me screaming and then dubstep.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's
Yeah.
pretty good.
I got another email here from Hallie. So, gentlemen, nice to email in again. I've been too embarrassed about my country recently to talk to anyone not from America. You've got nothing to be embarrassed about. You're not the one doing it. Anyways, my awesome Reddit on Reddit shirt should be here.
Australia is not also makes stupid decisions all the time as well. You and I, Kempo, we take no responsibility.
No. We'll say it right now. We take no responsibility for any actions on behalf of the Australian government. Anyway, my awesome Reddit on Reddit shirts should be here any day now. Update, they have arrived because we've got a backlog of emails. Glaring at Camber for not making the pinata suggestion, among others. Good point. Maybe I'll make some more to go up soon. Question after I do the AMA theme. My question this week is...
Wait. That implies you're not going to couple with them at all, Camber.
We'll make it a podnapping section. Well, another podnapping section is you listen to me design a new t-shirt.
And I'm in the background. Yeah. I'm like, can you mirror it up and to the left a little bit? Yeah, that looks good. That looks good.
That writing down the bottom on certain colors, that might not be very easy to see. We've had that issue before. She continues. My question for this week: how do you make someone develop Stockholm syndrome as fast as possible? Brackets serious. Happy kidnapping, Hallie.
This is.
Well, here's the thing, Hallie. Because you've asked a serious question, we need to have a serious answer. Is you need to make them rely on you. And if the movie Misery has taught me anything, break their leg.
Break their legs.
Break their legs, because then they need you to feed them. They need you to wash them. And then, after a while, they need you. They'll start loving you.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of that movie, he kills her. So.
Yeah, but I bet you he thought about it for a second.
You know what? Don't have any typewriters around.
Yeah. No, get rid of typewriters.
Get rid of typewriters.
Even nothing more than a MacBook Air, I would suggest. They're quite light, hard to do a lot of damage with the MacBook Air.
Whack one of those over your head, you're fine.
Yeah, it would hurt, sure, but you won't die.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think. Oh God. I think the thing is, what you need to do is provide something that nobody else can.
Like service to them after you've broken their legs.
What's that? What?
Like service to them after you've broken their legs. No one else can provide that because you've locked them in a house.
Yeah, that's right. Good point. But I'm thinking like, just something that they might enjoy that they can't get anywhere else. Like, let's say, for example, you're an excellent chef.
Yep.
And you make, I don't know why I've chosen this specifically, but let's just say you can make the best pho in the world, which is like a Vietnamese soup.
Yep.
No one in the world can make it as good as you make it. And so you like give it to them. You've kidnapped them for a bit. You give them this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Mm-hmm. They fall in love with it. Mm-hmm. And then after a while, you're like, all right, you're free to leave. And then you let them walk out. They see exactly where you live. Yeah. What happens the next day? Bam, there they are. I'm for that delicious food.
Yeah. That's not bad. Because then they're in love with you by association.
Yeah.
I see where you go with that. Another thing is, and this is slightly more diabolical, is you get them addicted to a drug, but importantly, you don't let them know exactly what drug it is, because then they can't go out and score it for themselves. Because then they have to keep coming back to you for the drug.
Sorry, Camber, I thought it was implied, but I had drugged the
soup. Right. Yeah, that's why they love it so much. They're like, I don't understand. I really need more.
Yeah. I can't get this soup anywhere else in the world. It just doesn't feel the same afterwards.
Also, if I don't have it in a long time, I get really sweaty and really itchy. And I don't know why that is.
I think that dependency is what we're looking for here. I think the other thing, what you should do is, you serve them this soup, and at the same time, You put on their like favorite TV show.
So not only that, you're kind of like doing Pavlovian conditioning as well. It's like you're having this thing, and look, this other thing you like is on. Isn't that a coincidence?
Yeah. Just like all these great experiences you have at the time of eating that soup, and then all the other times it's
and
like
then
hell.
I'd say equally important, if there's a case that they're not going to be with you, you ensure that time is hell.
Yeah.
Maybe you employ people to harass them. Maybe you employ people to beat them up. Anything like that where they're not having a good time when they're not around you. And when they are around you, they're drugged up. They've got the food they like. They're watching the TV show they like. And look, if they start loving you, they start loving you.
Yeah. I have a serious question for you, Camber.
Yeah.
Is Hallie asking this because she wants to kidnap us? And did we just, set ourselves up?
Look,
cause our own doom.
If she kidnaps us and it results in me getting high, eating food, and watching my favorite TV shows, I can think of worse things.
You wouldn't even have to kidnap us. Just say that's what's going to happen. Hey guys, get in my van. I'm going to give you great food. You don't have to work again.
Yeah, you're off your head on some kind of drug. I won't tell you which one for most of the day.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm okay with it. Okay, we have one last one here, and it's from Amanda. She says, "Hi guys, I'm sorry it's been so long since I've written to you, but lockdown is doing my head in, and there are only so many pictures of my cat that people want to look at. However, not only was episode 199 utterly hilarious," do you know what? That's really surprising, that episode 199. So we have like a few emails backed up. And this was obviously sent not that long ago. Anyway, it was utterly hilarious. People I Hate YouTube channel, thumbs up. But it is it has really brought home to me just how weird 2020 can get. I mean, yeah, the country was on fire. We all got COVID. There were murder wasps and sharks with legs. Kanye West is running for president. And we missed out on Hazim coming for a holiday to Australia. But what the fuck is going on with Reddit on Reddit? Camber with a glass of baby blood? Nelson acknowledging the cuteness of dogs? Is this the Reddit on Reddit version of Face Off? I am about to fully embrace that we are now in an alternate version of the universe game and everything is officially insane. Trying to think of happier things, I do love a bit of an election day. Always up for a sausage from the CFA and a delicious cupcake from the school cake stall. Something to eat while we walk home along the puffing billy tracks. But I do like to vote. Those were so Australian references. That was just gibberish to everybody else.
American listeners, did you understand any of that?
Yeah.
Short of calling it a snag, it's the most Australian sentence you could have done.
Yeah. Okay, but I do like to vote below the line just so that I can make sure to put the people who I really hate last. This has not always gone well, as then I get bored halfway through and start putting the ones I like first, and they don't meet up in the middle. On more than one occasion, I've had to redo the whole thing. And I remember one time there was something like 73 boxes to number. Oh, man,
you've got the patience of a saint.
See, imagine if this was electronic, because I think our discussion last week or 199 was that the US system of elections using an electronic medium is way better than our
yeah, but did they get sausages from the CFA and a cupcake from the school thing so they can eat them on the train tracks on the way home?
Yeah, that is true. They probably don't have that, and that's why they're the United Farts of O-Merica. See, isn't it so great that we named it? We came up with the best name. Okay. Anyway, if you had the power to bring a fictional character into the real world, who would it be? Congratulations again on episode 200. I have some party pies in the freezer ready to go and some hundreds and thousands waiting to get made into fairy bread for me to eat while I listen. I think you've done a brilliant job never missing a week. Can't wait for smarter people than me to bring us a COVID vaccine so that I can get you real hugs instead of air hugs next time I see you. Thanks for making me laugh. Amanda.
Now, if we could bring any fictional character into the real world, who would it be? Now, the question here, Nelson, is like, I feel like a lot of people, they would say something along the lines of like Batman, but he would be miserable in real life.
Don't want him.
He's a sad sack. So the question is, who could we party with the most? Who would we stand to benefit the most from?
Okay. I mean, I have the ultimate answer, and this is I'll put this one in second place, Cambo.
Okay.
But we can flesh this idea out a bit more. Who do you think? Do you have an idea of who you think would party the most?
Party the most. See, well, I mean, we use Batman as a bad example, but is Iron Man a better example? Because he's essentially Batman, but he parties.
He does like a good party, and you know who he is. I don't like the secrecy of that.
What are you hiding? I mean, your identity, obviously.
Yeah, because of all the villains.
Yeah. But I get it. Like, I don't want to sound too cold-hearted here. Spider-Man hides his identity because he's like, what if they go after Aunt May? What if they go after... Batman's got no one. His thing is that his family's dead.
Yeah, that's right. What's he worried about? Alfred? Who gives a shit? He's an old man. He's dead anyway. Okay. Yeah, that would be cool because it is funny, right? Like Batman was a necessity because of the amount of crime.
Yeah.
But if you brought them into the real world, you're like, well, there's not much crime here. I feel like in general, Batman's not really going to have a major impact on the world.
Yeah.
But if you brought in Iron Man, I think he'd just be like, oh, no problem that there's no, thugs to beat up or like massive world-threatening crimes. But I've got some cool suits. Let's chuck on a couple of these bad boys
go
and
flying.
Go for a spin.
Yeah. I mean, we're introduced to that character at a roulette table in Vegas in the first movie. Like, that's what he's doing in his downtime.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely want to be part of his posse.
And then let's also then compare that to how we meet Batman in Batman Begins. He's in a prison fight. Like there's two kinds of people in the world. I think I want to be at the roulette table.
Also, Iron Man, didn't he develop clean energy?
Yeah.
So
he also developed Ultron, but we'll have to forgive him for that one.
Yeah, that was a minor blip in the radar. Look at all the Iron Man comics. I'm so sure he wasn't responsible for all of them.
He's responsible for more villains than anyone else, I would say, of the superheroes, though.
Oh yeah. How do we know that there would be a Joker if there was no Batman? Isn't that the whole thing? One exists because of the other.
Yeah, I guess that's true. But like that's indirect. Whereas I would say the villain from the first Iron Man is using a Tony Stark suit to be villainous. And then the villain in the second Iron Man is there because Iron Man's family ripped him off and is using Stark technology to become a villain. And then I would say he created Ultron. And then I would say he also creates, spoiler alert, the villain in the newest Spider-Man movie is also just there for revenge on Tony Stark. He creates villains more than the average superhero. Mm-hmm. But boy, does he party.
He's a good partier.
Yeah.
All right, you've convinced me.
But who's the ultimate answer?
I just thought of two better ones.
Okay.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, obviously.
No, for vampire slaying reasons, obviously.
Because because what does the world need, Cambo? More than one Sarah Michelle Gellar. That's what the world needs.
But also, if you were to, and I don't want to be ageist, but if you were to bring Buffy into real life, Sarah Michelle Gellar is a little bit older than you.
Yeah.
Whereas if you bring Buffy into real life, you've wound back the clock some, haven't you?
Well, I'd have to make sure that I didn't bring her around like season 1 when she's like 16.
Does she start that early, does she?
I think she's pretty young. Yeah,
Okay,
At least.
Yeah. You need to be like, when are you like 25? What season was that? Maybe the first Scooby-Doo movie. We'll rip you out of that one instead.
Yeah. Actually, at the end of the last season, she has a complicated relationship with Angel. It's very tragic. But that's done for because he can't love anyone, so it's fine. No threat to me there.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit vulnerable.
Yeah. But the end of season 7, she was also sleeping with Spike, James Masters. Mm-hmm. But he dies at the end of that. So that's the point where I want it.
A bit vulnerable and with a dead boyfriend.
Your boyfriend died, did he? It's I'm here for you. I'm here for you. No, but the number one, Camber, I can't believe you didn't think about this. This is so fucking obvious. What fictional character, and let's stretch the meaning of character in this one. I think it still counts. Is the spider that bit Spider-Man?
Okay, so then you could be bitten yourself and become Spider-Man.
Yes.
Okay.
Turning into
Nelson, if you're after powers, I would say, and maybe controversially classifying this as a fictional character, what if you brought Jesus to life? Because he did all kinds of miracles.
Yeah.
You got a party on, bring Jesus to life, get a bunch of fish and bread, and be like, feed them all. Think of the catering costs you could save.
It would be annoying because the books describe it as a miracle, right? But like you could still have a fantasy world where it's told from one perspective and it's seen as a miracle. But then there's another perspective where it's just magic tricks. Like if you see so you take Jesus out of into real life and you're like, oh, awesome. Hey, I'm hoping you can provide bread and fish. And he's like, okay, I did technically do that. But I'm going to need a barrel of bread and a barrel of fish.
It's kind of like if you're like, we need a huge monument to disappear. You know what? David Copperfield, he made the Statue of Liberty disappear, and you rip him out of like time or whatever and kidnap him. Like, do it again. He's like, oh, thing is, it was a giant mirror.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah, so I don't know. That's a risky one. That's a risky one, but it could pay off.
Yeah, it could pay off. But the spider from Spider-Man, the spider that bit Peter Parker, you think is the ultimate?
I think that's it. That's the ultimate.
Okay.
Get them Spider-Man powers.
Yeah. I'm thinking if there's a superhero that has even better power set, and if
an easy way to get that too.
Yeah. But a lot of it is like radiation or chemicals.
Or genetics.
Or genetics, yeah. Where you're right, you can't just pull that out of fiction, but a spider you could. Yeah, I think you've done it.
Yeah. Like you don't want to risk becoming a daredevil.
Yeah. Oh, I've got all these senses. I am blind though.
Yeah. Cool. Alrighty. Well, that's it for the show. Thank you, Amanda, Hallie, Tane, and Jeremy.
Also, thank you, Hallie, generally for doing about half the show notes.
Yes. Thank you, Hallie, for doing a lot of it. It's great. It was so good.
Yeah.
I really
if you could come up with a couple of podnappings as well.
Yeah. Actually, we do have one. Somebody's written in, and I'm actually going to mention it because I don't want them to think Casey. I don't think she's written into us giving us a podnapping suggestion. It was quite a while ago, and I just put it on the back burner.
Right.
Like,
okay.
I'm going to do this one eventually. I don't want her to think that we missed her email. But anyway, but yes, if you'd like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast, gmail.com. You can also use us at Facebook, Twitter, and our subreddit. They're all READIT podcast. Two questions, Cambo. The first one is, I said Casey as a woman, but that could also be a guy. So I wasn't much of a question as much of a statement. My other question is, you've been posting the episodes most time recently.
Yeah.
Do you post them to our Twitter?
I have no idea.
Okay, so that's a no. Cool. I just thought it was funny because I don't think that was like the only use that Twitter account got. And now that if you're not doing that, then I'm not posting to Twitter. But it's there. Look, if you send us a message, I'm pretty sure I still get the notification on my phone.
So I think it's also important to say we should probably get this out of the way now at the end of the show. We've now done 201 episodes. And since the lockdown has been extended as well, and the remote recordings have been a bit hit and miss, we have decided to actually take a break until next week again.
Yeah. I don't know if we've really done this in previous episodes. I feel like don't we normally say that we're going to take a break, or that it's going to be a week until the next episode? I feel like that's pretty normal of us to do.
All I want is two questions, similar to your two questions. One, did we get anyone last week?
I know we did.
Oh,
good. We got Cousin Rowan at least, I think. And I think Amanda said she was pretty close too.
And the second question is, if you really think about it, would it be any consequence if we really did take a break?
Not at all.
Not at all.
Not at all.
Anyway,
in fact, 2020 might get better. Who knows?
Anyway, leave a review and rate the show, etc., etc.
etc., etc. So thanks for listening, and we will read you later.